You're running a shop floor, not a Pinterest interest board or a fantasy football league. You don't need inspiration, you need things to work. So welcome to Build Your Way, a podcast from Cetec ERP. This is a show for manufacturers who are in it every day, from quoting and shipping jobs to troubleshooting quality and material shortages, all while staying a step ahead of what's next. We bring you stories from the field, lessons that stick, and strategies that actually scale to help you build better. Let's get to work.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cetec ERP Build Your Way podcast. My name is Taylor Wagon.
I'm Scott Ryan.
And we have a guest today here in studio with us, Kelly.
Kelly Bell.
Kelly Bell, you want to introduce yourself? Yeah.
I am Kelly Bell from M3 Distribution.
That is great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We are, I think we could say old friends at this point.
I would say.
I first met you in 1999.
It is a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
On your jaunt to Tomball.
I was 21.
Were you 21?
I was 21. And I had a 1-year-old.
Yes.
Yep, and had just moved
to Tomball, Texas.
Got out of a U-Haul driving from New Mexico to Tomball, and it was like August 1st, and we finally arrived at like 8 p.m. on a Sunday, and like stepped out of the cab there in Tomball, and it was like
110
degrees or whatever, and I was like, oh my god,
You immediately needed a shower.
where am I? Yeah, that was a lot.
It was.
that was the end of my ladies' shoe selling days and the start of manufacturing software. So
One of my fondest memories of you coming, when you came, is Brooke coming into the office with your 1-year-old in her backpack up high. Do you remember that?
we use that thing all the time.
And I remember thinking, because I'm from Tomball, went as far as College Station for school and then came back to Tomball. And so I remember thinking, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And no one in Tomball would probably do that and walk around town, because she was walking from wherever you were living all the way to the office.
It was like at least a quarter mile.
Yes, which in Texas, if you've been to Texas, you don't walk in 100-degree weather, but she would come in and it was the sweetest thing. And I just remember that was one of my fondest memories. And I still remember that.
We were always struggling. We're trying to walk around Tomball, and there's no sidewalks.
Now there are.
Now there are.
Tomball has grown up.
Tomball is now basically just Houston. But back then, we were always like struggling, to like, it's like there's like a ditch and there's the road and there are large pickup trucks and, trying to like navigate the space between. And we had a running stroller because we used to take our kid on these runs. In New Mexico, we'd have to like bundle them up in the middle of the winter, and like you're running on the snow with this kid all like a little Eskimo baby. And in Tomball, obviously he was just getting cooked alive. But yeah, we went into Klein's, an old grocery store,
Mhm.
and we're like looking at produce, because that's a part of the grocery store experience, pushing the stroller around, and some guy stops us and is like, he literally asked if that was some kind of racing stroller. And I think I just told him, yes, it's exactly what it is. It's a racing stroller. So,
And somehow you came to Texas and didn't leave, which is, I didn't expect that.
I didn't either. Yes. That is one of the unexpected things of my life.
How long did you live in Tomball?
Not long.
Not long.
So the plan was, when I moved to Tomball, that we would ultimately move to Austin to start the first Austin branch of what was TechX, became Cetec. Eventually everybody would move to Austin, but I was going to start the branch here. So we were in Tomball for 3 months, then in San Jose for, Milpitas technically, for 6 months, and then back to Tomball for 2 months, and we moved here.
Okay, so
Yeah,
not too bad.
very, very exciting. I have a new bit I want to do here as part of the podcast. I want to talk about a book at the start of every episode.
Okay.
Because I think it's fun. And I gave Kelly a choice if she wanted to hear about strategy and tactics of historical generals and battles or overly fancy food. And she didn't have a preference, but she didn't want military history. So, pulling from the shelf right here, this book is a book that I have on my shelf in the library. We have a little library, and I'm trying to get people to populate it with books they like. This is from 11 Madison Park, which is a very fancy restaurant in New York City. And if you look on the inside of it, it has incredibly fancy types of food that you would not make yourself at home.
Because they wouldn't feed.
If you showed up with this, that's a piece of asparagus. And about 8 hours of work.
So I always thought asparagus came in twos.
I think that's a good point. I guess it's a single or a dress.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe it's aspirationally a pair. I don't know. And this cookbook is it's ridiculous amounts of work for very little.
It's a table book, isn't it?
Food, right? But it's quite pretty. It's quite pretty. This guy eventually he turned the restaurant into a completely vegan restaurant. And they did that for a while, and now they're back on the meat train apparently.
Okay.
And I actually put this on the shelf because I don't think I've made a single thing out of this cookbook,
which is kind of remarkable. You cook a lot.
I do cook a lot.
A lot of adventurous things,
like nachos. Yeah, I know. I do. I enjoy cooking. And it's fun. And this cookbook is kind of neat. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it, and the reason I brought it in here, though I don't know anybody's actually gone to the trouble to page through it, is it's interesting to see somebody's like high concept food. Because even if you don't decide to cook that way, it gives you ideas about the things that you might be doing yourself, right? And the semi-obvious podcast tie-in here, I hope, is the idea of seeing inside somebody else's operation or what they're doing, even if it's different than something that you might do yourself. It does change the way that you see things. You get like a different perspective. You get new ideas. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to do it exactly that way, but I get to do something a little bit like that. So that last thing I was holding up is like pork belly with all these nicely, like there's like a cabbage leaf and some other vegetables on top. And then it's very formally, sliced and prepared. And it's like, oh man, there are things I could do with this. And so that instantly had me thinking about like, oh, what am I going to do? I made something derivative at some point in my life for that reason. So. We go 11 Madison Park, and here we are with Kelly, and you are the cookbook. You get for the listeners, they get to kind of see and hopefully hear ideas from you.
Kelly, did you have a book recommendation? I think you mentioned some when you walk into the office.
So I have two books that I read and continue to read over time that I swear by in business. And I even give one called Customers for Life, which is by Carl Sewell. So Sewell, Cadillac.
Sewell Korea.
All the Sewell, all the Sewell. Now they've expanded, but back in the day they had Sewell Cadillac up in Dallas, and he wrote a book called Customers for Life. And I give that book to everyone who interacts with customers in our company at this point. And he is just very insightful about how you treat a customer and how you arrange your yeses. We've talked about your no's at the ERP, but how you arrange your yeses to say yes, even if you're saying no, in a way that you can still accommodate the customer, but not in the way they think they're going to be accommodated. Which is you guys actually do a really wonderful job of. As much as you say no. You do try to say, I can give you what I think you need, not necessarily what you want, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. The trick is you're getting the no from a Taylor or Brent and helping, like the support person. How do we translate this into a more diplomatic way?
Customers for life, maybe for you guys.
Yeah, turn that hell no upside down.
And then the other one that I just was so impactful on me as a young manager was a book called Flight of the Buffalo. Have you ever heard of that? No, neither one of you. You're just blank stares. Okay, you have to look it up. So it is this idea that you have buffalo, and so Indians used to, go hunt buffalo, and all they had to do to stop the buffalo was to kill the lead buffalo. So if they shot the lead buffalo, all the other buffalo would just stop because the lead buffalo is down, right? And then you have...
Is that true? Does this actually work?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
for the purposes of our story.
For the purposes of the story and for...
Can't test it anymore.
Yeah, it's probably true. I think there is something to be said about it. I'm going to go research that now because now you've bothered me with it. But the idea of the difference in a buffalo versus the flight of geese. And so if you ever watch geese or any other bird fly, they rotate who leads around. And so even if that first bird is
shot, say,
someone else takes the lead and moves the company forward in a way. Does that make sense? So this idea of empowering your people to, at times, take the lead instead of it always being you being the lead, that you're empowering other leaders in the company. And sometimes it's an unexpected person to take that lead. So that's always been something interesting to me.
What's the most recent specific example you might have of debuffaloing?
Debuffaloing. I think in general, we have such a small company now, it's not a huge company, but it is amazing to me to find like an assembly worker who will come up with an idea and then spearhead that idea throughout the company, right? Like I think we should do this and talk it through with me. And instead of me saying, I'll make that happen, I'm like, let's help you make that happen. Like, so those are ways that I just love watching them feel a part of it, feel that they're making a difference and that they have a say, and being able to, it just really helps the whole camaraderie in the company, in my opinion.
Also, it probably cuts down on the bogus ideas, the whole, like, somebody comes up with an idea and they want you to take, to run.
That doesn't happen? That happens in your company?
I mean, no, I'm just looking at Scott because I know he's encountered,
usually couched as a complaint or a problem without a real solution.
Trick.
And you should go fix this.
It's like, how can I help you fix this?
Yes.
Then that's good.
True. Yeah. HR too. That helps because how can I help you get along with that person that you're not getting along with?
That process of empowering somebody, do you refer to that as goosing someone?
That might get me to HR. So as I get a call from HR, then I might be in trouble. So
Kelly goosed me. That's funny.
Okay, so you mentioned assembly worker. I'm going to pivot from the book. Those are both excellent. Flight of the Buffalo. I was on the fence of do I make a joke about buffalo wings or not?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I was very quickly about to jump on that.
It would have been good. It would have been, and the food thing, we could have just transitioned right in.
Anyway, assembly worker. So tell us about M3. What do you do?
So M3 started off as an electronic distributorship. So that's how we started, which is my background. And I started it 21 years ago when I found out I was having a baby and decided that I wanted to keep working but not be stuck working 60 to 80 hours a week, right? So my dad had retired, for those who don't know, Fred Murphy, and he had retired and was bored to tears. And so I was talking to him one day. I was in California with the company that had bought our previous company. And he said, well, I'm bored, so let's start something. And so then we started M3. So that's how we started. It was, on a whim. And so M3 is Murphy 3, which is the 3 siblings. So my 2 siblings and I started it, and I work in it. And we started back we had Legacy Cetec when we did it, and we were a distributor. That's what we were at the time. And not 5 months in, my old customers were calling and said, I need you to build these cable assemblies. And we were like, nope, we're not getting the cable assembly business again. And it took probably 2 weeks before I couldn't say no. I'm not good at saying no. Like, I was like, okay. And as a small distributor starting off 21 years ago, we had to find what our niche was. What are we?
Yeah.
We are not Arrow and Avnet and these large, electronic distributorships. So we're not the catalog houses at that time who didn't have the internet that they have now to be what they are, but still we're big proponents for engineering. And so we had to figure out who we were, and we became customer centric and decided to become a niche distributor, a niche cable assembler, or whatever that led us to be what we consider an extension of our customers' procurement and production. So what do they need us to do? And that's what we do. So we build cable assemblies, we build box builds, we build large machines for our customers where we stock their product if they need us to. So we've had customers who close down their entire distribution center and it's just in our facility, and we do that for them. And so mostly cable assemblies and electronic distribution.
Are you still in that building? I haven't been to your facility in...
So 2012, we built a building.
I think I was there right as you were moving into that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So you would have came because 2018 when we moved over to the ERP system. Yeah. So So we are in that building still, which is perfect and a quarter of a mile from my parents' house. And we gave him a scooter, but he doesn't drive it over. I wish he did, but with a helmet. Right? Can you see him?
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so you were running Legacy Cetec, and I know some vague ideas of, this is where TechX also started, was out of M3. So,
well, no, not out of M3.
Okay.
It was out of my old company, Wofford Electronics.
Okay.
So, yes, they developed, so back in the day when we had the green screens, the Legacy Cetec, they developed I would say when the internet first became big, an HTML version of, they pulled the information off of Cetec and put it into kind of an HTML version. And so it became this new idea and wonderful thing. And Brent and I, back in that day, when he was there in the office too, wrote pricing on BASIC. I actually could code in BASIC. That was about all I've gotten as far as I've gotten on that. But we used to write pricing programs they would send us the pricing files and then for us to be able to upload them into our Cetec system at the time. So.
Okay, so do you have any fun stories of a young Brent Barton?
A young Brent Barton. Brent is so sweet and just kind. Like, he doesn't, you think about Brent, he's just like this.
We will convince him at some point to be on our podcast because he's
I have known Brent Barton since he was young, before he started. I knew Brent, so I've known him for a long time. Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
I know, but Brent is just sweet and kind, and let's be honest. There's not.
Well, he's fantastic.
He'll say yes to anything you ask him to do. There's not.
He's way more on the yes side. Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's Buffalo yes or whatever it was.
Like, it is very much, Dad said no, so I'm gonna go ask Mom.
Oh yeah.
Or I guess really it's probably the other way around. For Mom said no, so I'm gonna go ask Dad.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. It's
yeah. So do you have to?
I'm going showing notebooks. Come on.
She's like, oh, they're in Brent's office right now. So Brent, say no. I already said no to that.
So what are some of your customers' concerns? What you're doing a wide range of things for them.
The problems you're taking on.
Yeah. What industries are they in? Yeah, and how?
Oh, yeah. So we are ISO certified. So, of course, quality is a huge proponent for all of our customers at this point. We might end up having to get AS 9100. Some of our customers are big. They've, up to this point, certified us kind of under them until now. But some of the security measures that they're having to do. So there's some security measure things that we are having to step our foot into that are new. And
which ones
make
are you looking
sure, just
Do you have to do SOC 2 or CMMC stuff?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's what my IT guy has to figure out. Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure.
He's been goosed.
He's been
He's
goosed.
my leader.
We goosed
He's
him.
my leader with that. And so other things are just capacity issues right now, and just their customers are pushing on them. So of course, being an extension, like we're not just a cookie cutter guy, we are part of them, and that's how we want them to feel. The first time my customer told me that's how they felt without knowing that was my vision, I almost cried. Because it was like, oh, wow. Dude, like, you're just an extension of what we are. And they were like in our office for 5 days. And you're like, oh, yeah, just take over the conference room. And so some of them are trying to grow, and they don't have the capacity in-house. So they're pushing that capacity onto us. And some of it is maybe they've been purchased by somebody in a different state. So they need a place to house their inventory, or they want us to ship direct to their customers now. They don't even look at the product anymore. They send us the labels. They send us all the testing specs.
Blind ship all the way through here.
Yeah, and expectations, and then we go straight through. So it depends. We try to have a variety of different things. And this is probably the most fun topic for you, but I think tariffs are a huge problem right now with our customers, and a push on how do we deal with that. We have customers who want to deal with it. Every one of our customers wants to deal with it differently, right?
How many tariff bills are you getting after the shipment? Like on a net for the month, or?
So we do purchase some product internationally. So those tariff bills come at the end with a UPS bill or a FedEx bill or a DHL, right? So those are, and the problem with those is that the system doesn't quote you well. So sometimes those are big surprises. Like you're like, wait a second. Or you have your manufacturer who HTS'd you wrong, I would say. They put the wrong coding in, and now you're having to go back and fight. Like this, talk about an uphill battle to fight through some of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that is, those are difficult things. We purchase a lot through America. So it's depending on the, who we're buying from, if they have their ducks in a row to be able to go ahead and bill us. Or, so some people have said, we're just going to charge you a flat fee, like a flat percentage. Yeah. And those usually come straight away.
So that's going to be with your invoice.
That's going to be with your invoice. So those are easier to deal with, as far as we can deal with it right away. And we know what that is. Usually it comes with your order acknowledgement. So you already have it. A lot of them are doing a lot better, at least since April. We're talking about things being online even. Here's your percentage. That's amazing. And then there are others that they don't know what their bill is going to be yet. So you will get them at the end of the month or something like that. So we've kind of had to be open-ended with our customers on, we do our best to give you that information up front. But there are going to be times that's going to happen.
It feels like when you have that diversity of charge reasons, if you could have like a cost plus kind of model where it's like, hey, it's going to be what our actual tariff costs are plus 5% for SG&A expenses or whatever we're going to have, then and we'll invoice you as we accumulate them for you. I don't know, nobody seems to be happy with any of the systems we have.
Well, I think we talked about this earlier, there's just not a lot of transparency. So you're like, okay, I'm being charged a tariff, but I'm not sure where that tariff is actually coming from, or I'm being charged a tariff on product that you have in stock in the United States. But at the same time, I can't look poorly on that, because they're having to replace that stock with inventory that's going to have a tariff on it.
Yeah. So
I get it on all sides, but then our customers aren't putting up with that. So we've had, you have pushback, and there's still price concerns. You still need to be competitive. You need to make sure you're within line. So there's just a lot of research on what everyone else is doing and what are we going to do and that type of stuff. So at the moment, it's a little subtle. As far as we know, our customers know, but that it changes every week, right?
I'm interacting with somebody today that I have to update all their order tax codes to reflect the new tariff changes from 24 to 18, 18 to 12, and all the product, where it's like,
it's easier when they go down, but it's harder when they go up. Or we got caught the other day with a 200% tariff from India. 200.
Wow. How much are you seeing suppliers moving in response to tariffs?
So when this happened years ago, so when we started this, when Trump did this, back in his first term, we actually did see a lot of movement out of China because it was just China, right? I do see people moving some manufacturing to the United States. They probably already had manufacturing in the United States, so they're just...
It's like a rebalancing.
They're rebalancing some of that. I'm not necessarily seeing someone coming out of the United States. I am seeing some shifts between... They had manufacturing, say, in Taiwan and China and Vietnam, and now they're shifting what products are being built in which places, probably based on their volume, is what I'm thinking, that they're going to move their lower volume stuff and their higher volume stuff to the lower tariff.
Yeah.
So that they can stay competitive. Because that's the thing. The manufacturers have to also stay competitive. It's not just us.
Right.
So.
I know talking to our friends with Entrada Group who help, especially cable and wire companies, had facilities in Mexico, that they'd seen a lot of rehoming in that sense, North Americaning, moving.
Nearshoring, I guess is what they're calling
is
it's
a nicer term.
Yeah, nicer term.
Avoid that. Moving on China to Mexico.
Yeah. Well, and some of that was just the supply chain disruption from COVID.
Yeah.
But
you mentioned India. So India has been yearly trying to pick up where they can on some of this stuff. And I've talked to people who are evaluating, changing some suppliers to India, but I've not seen a ton of it yet. So I'm interested, is that a metal product?
So it's wire.
It is wire.
But it is an aluminum tax from buying it from Russia.
Oh.
So India is the most complex, actually, of all of the ones other than China right now, as far as their tariffs go. So they have an extra tariff for buying oil from China, and they have the tariff for this aluminum tax, which is crazy. So yeah, there's different things that are going on. We finally did have to make a spreadsheet and keep it, and then these are at the moment pending. They've been, because that's the thing, is they come up and then they might be intact for a week. And then they pull them again. And so if you ship something in that week, which sometimes you don't have control over when it ships, it just ships. You had it on order for months, and then it shipped in the 1 week that you're in trouble. So, yeah, we have told them you cannot ship until we tell you to ship. But
have you talked to them about the buffalo thing to see if that is in fact a true story?
About the buffalo?
About the buffalo.
Yeah. I'm going to keep rotating back to that.
Yeah, just look.
I think it's different.
We're going to research it after this and go, it is true.
I don't know. We could ask our guys over there if they're...
Do they have a lot of buffalo in India?
It's a different kind of Indian.
Maybe it's a different kind of buffalo. It could be. Well, until our next episode here at the Build Your Way podcast. Thanks for joining us, and you can subscribe. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on pretty much any social media platform, YouTube, the usuals.
If you have a mug, I'll drink coffee from it.
It's a good bit.
Shameless plug.
All right. Thank you for a mug.